Well, hello and welcome to another Daily Dominion. It's Tuesday, so we have just a single expansion in Plunder, but for a single expansion kingdom, there's a lot going on. We have an event and a trait and Shaman warping the game, and these are the kingdom cards coming in hot. Cage costing 2, Shaman costing 2, and warping the game in a sense that whenever a card is in the trash at the beginning of your turn, you have to choose one of those in the trash and gain it, and as long as it costs up to 6. Then there's a lot of start of turn stuff, like Gondola might give you 2 money, Quartermaster might gain you a card at the start of your turn, and you get to order these effects with Shaman. Also, because of Inherited, we will start our deck with a Shaman in it. We can either replace a Copper or an Estate with a Shaman. And apart from that, there's also other strong stuff going on, like Pendant, always appreciating other treasures. Now, +1 money per differently named treasure in play, it's already insane with just tools, figurine, gondola, and cage. Although cage will trash itself as soon as someone is gaining a victory card, and with Shaman being around and Quartermaster and Mapmaker being around, it's very likely that a lot of victory cards are going to be gained, and even worse, cage is going to end up in the trash and be probably at your opponent's disposal to gain at the start of turn instead of a junk card. So not a viable thing usually to go for in Shaman Kingdoms. Mapmaker, on the other hand, I cannot talk, is a very nice thing to go for in Shaman Kingdoms, especially um, yeah, if you if yeah, just in general, it's very likely that one or another player will gain those victory cards, and thus, yeah, you will be able to activate those regularly, and they're nice non-terminal draw in that case. Also, with Quartermaster in play, you can sometimes simply gain an estate onto a Quartermaster and thus activate your own Mapmakers during your turn if the trash option, like gaining an estate from the trash, isn't available. Now, apart from that, there is +buy and figurine, and also there is invasion, and invasion lets you play an attack card from your hand. There is no attack here in this kingdom, and you may gain a duchy, you can gain an action onto your deck, gain a loot, and play it. Now, with loots being around, these 30 cards, 15 of the same, 15 pairs of cards essentially, yeah, you will give your pendant even more things to like. So yeah, you really want to build big here, but it's a messy build just because of the map maker stuff going on. You want to get Quartermasters into play, you want to get a Shaman or two. You will start the game with one, but that also means that immediately on the first 2 turns, or on one of the first 2 turns, you're going to junk the opponent and you will get junked. Hopefully the AI finds its Shaman only on turn 2, and that way we won't get the Shaman into our first shuffle, or we won't get the junk into our first shuffle, but yeah, well, that's just some, I guess, shuffle luck in the early game. And yeah, how are we going to play this? We are going to spam map makers, probably 1 tools or 2 Quartermasters, and then see how we go from there, how we build up to invasion, probably a pendant early on. A silver isn't all too bad if we hit 3 after we already have 2 shamans, just to ramp up the money a bit to get to invasion, and then see how we go from there. So the kingdom plot looks as follows: a vertical line between draw and village, because the village is very weak. The main village is Gondola here to play a card. I don't know, for example, you could gain a card with Quartermaster and gain a Gondola with Quartermaster, and this way activate, I don't know, another Quartermaster in your hand, a Pilgrim in your hand. And if you activate a Quartermaster in your hand at the beginning of your turn, you may actually even play it immediately. So that's a neat thing that might happen. And why is the attack at 1? Probably just because of Shaman, because you get to junk your opponent by trashing your own cards. And yeah, I guess that's it concerning the kingdom plot. What are we going to open? Of course, we are going to just replace an estate with the shaman, with the inherited shaman. Sorry, I haven't shown this yet. But nonetheless, then we'll have a bunch of different openings. So we could either hit the 4/4, which I think is pretty good. I think you just want to go Mapmaker Shaman in that case. You could also just go double Mapmaker. I could see that because you're going to fling a lot of estates, especially in the very early game. And on the 5/3, where you have the Shaman in the same hand as the estates, then you are pretty happy because you can trash an estate and buy Quartermaster on good conscience. And on the 5/3, where you have the Shaman in the hand with 4 coppers, then I think that's the worst opening here by far, because I do think you want to junk the opponent no matter what. So you are going to trash the copper maybe and bite the bullet and buy a shaman on the 3 money hand. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this kingdom. Let's replace this estate. We have the worst of these openings immediately. So let's see how we can play this. An AI trashes an estate and activates its own map makers already. I think we also want to add another map maker. And because we gave AI an estate here, we can activate our own map makers. I think it's good to trash 2 cards here, so could even think about not trashing. Actually, not trashing will guarantee that when we have a map maker down there, that AI has to gain the estate, and that way we can also pick up a Quartermaster of our own. Can trigger this and trigger that, and just buy another map maker here. I think that's fine. If we put 2 estates in the trash, we're also going to be quite well set up. Is it too early to add tools yet? I think it is. For now, we just want to hammer in those map makers. And AI, just to not having to gain this estate, gained a gondola, played the shaman, put a copper in the trash, and got the copper back out of the trash. It really didn't want us to activate our map makers, but I guess we can do so on good conscience and pick up those shamans, pick up another map maker, which, by the way, I haven't mentioned yet, but will be able to trigger as well. And this way also trigger AI's thingy, but that's pretty fine. What do we want to tuck? So we have 7 money in deck, 8 money in deck now, but it's kind of hard to draw everything. If we were to, I think we want to just, weird as it is, get a gondola, not to play stuff, but rather to pick it up next turn, hopefully, and then buy a pendant so we can hit invasion. And yeah, we can also trash an estate, trash that, buy this pendant. And pendant is going to be much better than gold, just on account of finding nicer stuff. And we can again just gain this estate, find the map maker, that's very important. This can trigger another map maker. We want to trash the estate, so we can pick that up and pick up 2 more shamans. Also trigger AI's map maker, but that's fine. Untuck this. Now, how much money is this if we just play that? It's not quite enough, so we just have to trash the estate and not trash a copper here. Sorry, I was just being too lazy to count in my head. Oh no, we are fine, actually, I forgot. Yeah, sorry for this hassle. And the nice thing about Invasion is that you get to top deck a map maker immediately with that gain an action onto your deck. Let's also hope that we will get a plus buy loot. No, we won't. It's an insignia, pretty bad. But with these um, map makers in our hand, we will be able to trigger them and probably just pick that up. And now there's already the question of whether we want to trigger this last map maker. We could say, okay, we do not want to trigger it because then at the beginning of our turn we are going to just gain an estate and trigger this, and we would be able to trigger the others. But on the other hand, I think it's better if we just gain the copper during our turn, and then it's fine to leave them in trash, in a discard. It's just about these map makers that we've just played will come out of play as soon as AI's turn is over. So they would be in our discard at the start of our turn, but since we will buy Invasion anyways, we should be able to just top deck a map maker anyways, and that is then guaranteed to draw. So yeah, we even have yet another map maker in here, which we can activate, I guess, and pick up all of this junk and be fine with that. Now, AI does have the advantage of having 3 Quartermasters in play already. And yeah, what do we want to gain here? Probably just a tools. Tools will be able to gain us pendants, and that's quite good. On the other hand, more map makers also cannot hurt. But yeah, let's regain this and just go for probably next turn. We're probably not going to need the money anyways, because we're going to hit 11, and if we have a plus buy loot with 3 money, we will be able to buy another map maker. And AI, feel free to activate those map makers, that's fine with me. We can double top deck it. We could top deck a shield. There is a possibility of finding the sword with Invasion, and that's quite nasty against mapmakers, but here I think it's fine. We get to top deck 2 mapmakers, 4 on top. We're guaranteed to be able to find this estate. And yeah, things are going rather smoothly. AI is probably going to snatch the last mapmakers, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, let's go for the plus buy for sure. The other map maker, we put another map maker in the discard already. No, it's fine. We are all good here. And already activate this one. And now decline here. And then at the start of our turn, we will be able to draw even more. Decline that. I guess we can first untuck here and then regain this estate, activate the map makers, which will find more map makers, which we can all activate to draw a bunch. Actually, maybe this was a misplay somehow, and we shouldn't even have activated everything, but I think it's fine. And yeah, we can pick up so trash out those coppers. We can pick up another, I think we want to pick up another pendant. Could also be another quartermaster, which would be a bit nicer for reliability, just gaining estates. And then that way the pendant would be worth 1 more. Yeah, let's go for that actually. And buy the Quartermaster and buy Invasion. And then double pendant if we can. I think that's the best thing. It's nice to have it on top, I guess. It's not the best thing to do, but yeah, let's go for that. Not top deck the thingy, but top deck the map maker. and that's a nice loot to find. I guess no. Let's have a higher chance of finding the more map makers with the map makers, and just add 2 of those pendants and say, okay, we are at 10 victory points. Piles are getting low. Like map makers are gone. 4 gondolas are remaining, and yeah, I mean, probably our quartermaster will need to gain an estate. There are no estates in trash anymore. Although here, yeah, we do find Mapmaker, which finds more Mapmaker. I guess the draw ends here. This is what is going to happen, I guess, with these kinds of decks. We have tried to put as much reliability in our deck as we could, but yeah, it didn't happen here. Now we can first gain a card from the trash. What do we want to tuck here? Could just be an estate for point reasons. Could be a tools or a maroon actually for some extra draw. No, let's tuck an estate and trash an estate. Just put it in the trash to later be able to do stuff with it. We will hit a lot of money, and look at all of our map makers in there. I mean, it's just a bit unfortunate. Now here we need to be a bit careful that we don't lower too much, but if we buy invasion, we'll have 15 afterwards. That's not enough to then double province. Is there some sort of weird win? No, let's just play it really calmly. Double province, and what else? Probably a figurine. Not too bad to put in, or a pendant. We have so many. I think a figurine is a bit better because it provides plus buy in some cases, and it works like we could gain a pendant with tools and then draw the pendant in the optimal case, so let's decline that. If AI gains this estate here, it will activate our trap card in these map makers, and or even with the quartermasters. Let's go for that. Go for the maximum amount of treasures. I guess this quartermaster is kind of sad. And now let's not trigger this map maker, just to put all of these 5 map makers back into the discard. And our quartermasters will be able to gain us an estate and activate this map maker. It's very tempting to go for that, but yeah, let's go for this, activate that map maker, and then this way we can activate all of them and essentially, oops, I shouldn't have pressed all there, it's a bit annoying, but yeah, I mean, now we only have green stuff in the discard, and this should be a win probably, so let's not trash the coppers. Decline, actually keep one of the shamans in hand for the figurine to discard. And the tools, how do we play this for maximum money? I think we go for a single pendant here. Then we can play this tools and the sextant, then the figurine to line everything up. I'm not actually sure that's the most convenient way to go about things, but for sure, we could even top deck it. I think then it's worth 1 more money to play this first, and no, I messed it up. I meant to undo the pendant play, but okay, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And this way, yeah, we will rack up a lot of money. We can do some invasions until we run out of plus buy loots. And okay, decline that to play it. And as long as we have 24 for the last 3 provinces, we can keep on invading. Decline that, and gain an extra estate. And now is the time to probably just province out here, not get arrogant with these extra loots. And that's 48 points in 11 turns. Rather fast, even though we had the bad opening, I'd say. And yeah, I think AI didn't go for, like, AI went for a lot of Quartermasters, which are always not too bad, but it went for too little trashing. Like, these 10 coppers look really, really bad, and not enough Mapmakers, I would say. But, and also completely skipped invasion, I think, and greened very early with the provinces, so that's perhaps not optimal, but also, yeah, we had a rather nice run here. Even though the first loot was a non plus buy loot, we worked our way up to consistently go for this invasion and had some fun there. Anyways, that wraps up this video, and before I leave, just a heads up that I will probably now be able to render the last of the SDraw KCAB match videos, my last World Cup match, and put one out later and put the rest into the pipeline to come out the next days. So stay tuned and check those out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will try to catch you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.